Welcome to the Faded Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to talk all about scalp micropigmentation laser removal. Scalp micropigmentation, otherwise known as SMP, is a cosmetic tattoo that can either add the illusion of stubble to somebody's head like mine who has no hair at all, or it can add the illusion of density to somebody with thinning hair. It's a treatment that's marketed as something that can boost your confidence, helping you feel better about your hair loss. But if it's done poorly, it can do the exact opposite. It can destroy somebody's confidence. I've seen it happen. We're getting tons of people coming in to Studio Kiku looking to either lighten, adjust, or completely remove scalp micropigmentation. So let's talk about some of the reasons why people are looking to get it done. And let's talk about some things that you need to know if you are looking to get it done so you can prepare for the treatment. My name is Billy DeCola. I'm the owner of Studio Kiku, one of the most trusted and well-known laser tattoo removal studios in the world. And not only do I do laser tattoo removal, but I tattoo. I've been tattooing for the past 15 years, and within that time, I have also done scalp micropigmentation. I've done thousands of treatments. I've trained hundreds of students who have gone on to become scalp micropigmentation artists. I've done an online course, and that course is still out there right now. It's learnsmp.com if you're interested. Let's just say I have a lot of experience applying SMP, so I know what it should look like when it's put into the skin. With the trend of scalp micropigmentation on the rise, we're also seeing a higher demand for laser tattoo removal for scalp micropigmentation. If you think about it, the head is one of the most difficult spots on the body to tattoo. When I learned how to tattoo, I was tattooing calves for the first year before I was even allowed to tattoo any other parts of the body. We're seeing tons of clients coming to us who have gone somewhere to get SMP, and the SMP ruined their confidence. Let me tell you a story about a guy who came to us 2 years ago with a big problem on his hands. He ended up getting SMP from his girlfriend's friend who was a brow artist. And she told him that she would easily be able to create the illusion of a hairline and stubble, and it would be undetectable. Well, it didn't quite turn out that way for him. He ended up feeling so insecure about himself that he quit his job. He didn't work for an entire year. He came to us after he quit his job looking to get SMP removal done. The pigment was deep, it was dark, it was oversaturated. It took several sessions before some of that pigment would break up. A lot of it disappeared right away, but the deeper, darker pigment did not. It lingered around, and we hit it several times with all types of wavelengths and depths and spot sizes. We played around with the settings so much. Not only did he get a bad SMP job, but the person who did it tried to conceal some of her mistakes with a flesh tone pigment. So he had white pigment on his head, which cannot come out. It actually darkens when you laser white pigment. So the poor guy ended up getting like 6 or 8 sessions of laser. I forget what it was. And then we finally ended up doing a new layer of SMP over top of what was there. Moral of the story is SMP can destroy somebody's confidence if it's done improperly. Luckily, we have the laser, and the laser can remove most pigment. It can definitely lighten it enough so you can cover it with a nice scalp micropigmentation job. Let's talk about some of the common reasons why people want to get their scalp micropigmentation removed. First of all, we have depth. So if the pigment's put in too deep, the dot will become bigger and it'll look like a big splotch of pigment on the person's head. That definitely isn't a good look. So too deep is one reason. Oversaturated is another reason. We see it all the time where people just go crazy trying to overplease the client, and they end up putting big, mud stains on somebody's head. Another reason why people come in is because their hairline is just completely whack. It's just off, and there's nothing you can do to conceal it. So they come in to get laser removal. Sometimes we only remove the front part and the back is fine, and then we'll just redo the hairline. Last but not least, maybe somebody just grows out of it and they're just like, you know what, I just want to be back to normal again. But I've seen so many people after they get scalp micropigmentation actually feel less confident about themselves than before they got it done. And it's not because the service in general is a bad service. It's because there are many people out there who aren't skilled enough to do that service properly. Let's talk about how SMP removal works on the head. Laser tattoo removal for scalp micropigmentation is the same exact thing that you would get if you were getting a regular tattoo removed. The only differences really are depth. So sometimes if it's a nicely done SMP job, sometimes it'll come out in one session. If it's a soft, delicate looking tattoo, it'll come right out. But if it's deep, it'll be very, very difficult to get out. So in some cases it's easy, and in other cases it's very difficult, even more difficult than a regular body tattoo in some cases. What to expect during the removal process? SMP, like I said, is a tattoo. So it's going to be the same reaction. When the laser hits the pigment's going to shatter. Your body's going to absorb the pigment over time. The light pigment usually fades right away, leaving behind all the deep, dark, oversaturated follicles that were placed in your scalp. The number of sessions depends on the same variables: how deep the pigment is, how saturated it is, and the type of pigment that was used. Spacing out the sessions is pretty much the same. We recommend anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks in between laser sessions to allow your skin to get back to normal and to also give your body a little bit of time to metabolize that pigment. Let's talk about some of the possible challenges that you may have with getting your SMP laser removed. Sometimes artists will put colors in the pigment to warm it up. And in that case, it's pretty much the same as brow removal, where the first session will remove the dark pigment and it will leave behind whatever's left behind. If it's a red or a yellow, I've seen it happen a million times. You remove the top layer and surprise, surprise, there's some red pigment in there. I really don't know why SMP artists put red or orange in the pigment. There's really no color theory in my opinion, but that's another podcast episode altogether. Another challenge that you may have when getting SMP is the skin. The skin is a little bit more delicate on the head and definitely around the ears. So sometimes it's a little bit more painful. We do have numbing cream and ice for that and cold air, but it can be a little bit tender, a little bit more tender than, let's say, getting your arm or leg lasered. So sometimes we do recommend spacing the sessions out a little bit longer. And it's definitely important if you're getting SMP removal to make sure that you can chill for the first day or two. You don't want to get SMP removal and then go to your lifeguarding job and sit out in the sun all day, or go run a marathon or something like that. Definitely don't do anything else, but just relax, ice a little bit here and there to cool your tissue down. Let's talk about managing expectations. I know I mentioned that a lot of times SMP can come right out, and a lot of people think that that's the case, even if they have very dark, saturated, deep pigment. If you have dark, deep pigment, it is not coming out in one session. There is no way. I've seen some people have 8 sessions of laser and it still didn't come out all the way. So if you have deep, dark, saturated pigment, do not expect to come in here one time and have it removed. That's not going to happen. If somebody does tell you that they can do it in one session, then you better beware. I've seen people with scar tissue on their head because they used a laser that shouldn't have been used on their skin tone, or it was just used improperly. The setting's way too high. So what you want to do if you're looking to get SMP removal is find a laser studio that has experience doing SMP removal. You want to see before and after pictures. You want to talk to the laser technician and make sure that they have an understanding of what they're dealing with. And also you want to check the equipment that they're using. I would not get laser removal done on my head with anything other than the Pico-Way. The Pico-Way is the cream of the crop when we're talking about Pico lasers. You can check out an episode that I did all about the differences between Pico lasers, but the Pico-Way has the fastest pulse duration, so there is less damage to the skin than with any other laser on the market. It's best for darker skin tones, and it will remove the pigment without creating any damage, and that's what you want. So I would recommend finding a studio that is experienced with doing SMP removal and who is using the proper equipment. If you have questions about scalp micropigmentation removal, you can book a consultation online or you can give us a call and we'll be glad to go over the options with you. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again next time on the Faded Podcast.